Precious people of Ghana, it's your Nigerian girl pleasure bringing you political news in our channel, Ghanatube. Koku Anyidiho, who threatens Manasseh after dragging Captain Smart to court for 5 million in damages. Former Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress (NDC), Koku Anyidiho, has threatened to sue investigative journalist Manasseh Aziru over what he termed defamatory content written about him in the book The Fourth John Reign, Rejection and Reborn, and it has actually been making so much headline as the same Manasseh threatened, and not just that, charged Captain Smart to court over him for 5 million Ghana cedis for defamatory. Yet he is the same person that is writing things against people in his book. And the former Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress (NDC), and Koku Anyidiho, is not taking it lightly with him again. He has actually threatened to sue this investigative journalist Manasseh Aziru to bring him to court over defamatory content which he actually wrote on his book Rejection and Reborn. According to Koku Anyidiho, Manasseh claimed that he was more powerful than the then Vice President John Mahama during Koku's tenure as the head of communication and presidential spokesperson under the late former President Professor John Evans Atamios, a claim he has vehemently denied. Now he's actually being brought to bring evidence and where all those things are being said, and if not being provided, faces sued like court for defamatory which was written in his book. I hope Manasseh actually have an evidence of whatever he wrote, because Manasseh, we know, does not really take things lightly, just as we've seen that Manasseh dragged Captain Smart to court over according to him, said defamatory every other thing. Now this is actually coming to him. I think will I call it karma or will I call it vice versa? Because according to Koku Anyidiho, Manasseh actually claimed that Koku was more powerful than the Vice President John Mahama. Maybe that was why John Mahama didn't work with him again when he actually came into power. During Koku's tenure as the head of communication and presidential spokesperson under the late former President Professor John Evans Atameo, and this claim he has actually denied it outrightly, that he didn't mention anything like that, he didn't say anything like that. He doesn't know where Manasseh is getting these things from, and as such Manasseh is actually coming to defend himself, to say where and how he got those information. In a series of social media posts on March 25th, 2025, he stated, Manasseh Aziru should be ready for my next suit because of what he wrote about me in his book. Manasseh Aziru interviewed me for a book he said he was writing. He asked me questions and I answered him. So it is indigenous of him to write that I was more powerful than Vice President Mahama then. I was never more powerful than the Vice President. I must salvage my reputation. I was never more powerful than Vice President John Mahama when I worked with President Mills. Manasseh Aziru will prove me to the court how he knew me to be the most powerful than the Vice President then. Koku's legal threat follows 5 million Ghana cedis defamation suit filed by him against the host of Honor Blessed Girls Brain Smart, popularly known as Captain Smart. The suit was filed at Accra High Court on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. According to the court document cited by Ghana Web on the 25th of March 2025, the plaintiff stated that Captain Smart made several defamatory comments on his TV show in February 2025, which were later published on Ghana Web. Koku argues that these statements had a negative impact on his mental health and have tarnished his reputation both professionally and within religious circle, where he is highly respected. As a result, he is seeking 5 million Ghana cedis in damages including aggravated explanatory damages for reputational harm, a retraction and apology, the removal of the defamatory content. Wow. It's actually bring hot words. Like Manasseh Azuri's Anyidiho book revealed that Samuel Koku was one at that time who came across as powerful and could even make decisions in the name of the late President Atamils without his consent or knowledge. Manasseh Azuri's book cited as an example whereby in June 12th, during a Black Star qualifying match in Kumasi, there was a power outrage at the stadium, disrupting the game which was being broadcasted live. Anyidiho quickly went on air on Accra-based Joy FM and said President Atamils is upset and everybody who has a role to play in this will have their health role. He added that the Ashanti Regional Director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, will be fired and all those in line of fire will be fired. The famous head will roll. Comment from Koku Anyidiho. Manasseh Azuri explained was not coming from President Atamils because, as a statement from Fritz Buffo, the then Minister for Information denies such a directive. The President has given no such directive and it's therefore not true that the ECG boss in the Ashanti region has been fired. Koku Anyidiho's attitude of conveying information not sanctioned by authority, according to the book, gave Vice President John Mahama, who had been asked to take charge of affairs at the presidential because of the ill health of President Atamils, a lot of headache. He also proposed to be in charge because the president was not healthy, but the attitude of some presidential staffers and ministers upset him so badly that he once decided to quit as vice president, Manasseh wrote in his book. The chief director at the office of the president had returned from lunch to find the typist in the office seriously typing a letter. Official letters often pass through him, the chief director, and then assign the typist to work on them. But this was an exception. When he asked the typist what he was typing, he said the vice president had given him something to type, but he would not speak when asked what it was. Perhaps the content was too heavy for his mouth. The chief director then drew closer to him and looked into the screen of the computer, which greeted him from the screen, allowing him it was Vice President John Mahama's resignation letter that was almost ready. He didn't have the time to read the full letter. He ordered the typist to stop typing and he headed to John Mahama's office. Page 65 of the book reads. As fate would have it, President Atamils died on the 24th of July 2012, and Vice President Mahama took over the office as he went ahead to contest and win in 2012 election. The Vice President, who did not have much power or influence within his presidency, suddenly had ultimate state power, Manasseh wrote. And Samuel Koku Anyidiho has actually come out to say that Manasseh Azuri should be ready to for my next suit because of what he wrote about me. Manasseh Azuri interviewed me for a book he said he was writing. He asked me questions and I answered him, so it is so indigenous of him to write that I was more powerful than Vice President John Mahama. I was never more powerful than the president, and this has actually been going on. Please do well to comment how you see this, and also do well to like, comment and follow. Put on your notification bell so you get all our news one by one. Thanks my people.